The Boss SDE-3 is a delay pedal based on the Roland SDE-3000 rack unit. And like the rack unit, it's a powerful digital delay with its own character. It's a little darker and a little crunchier than is typical for digital delays. But in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 coolest things you can do with it. Right off the bat, I think the secret star of the SDE-3 is the high cut knob. That's the tone control. Tone control maybe does not normally sound like it's going to be the sexiest thing. But in this case, something about the way they voiced it, I think is like crucial to the identity of this pedal. Specifically, the high cut control can like keep the feedback in check. Like if you turn the feedback way up to the point where normally you would expect to start to hear out of control resonance, it's like the high cut was specifically tuned to fight that and also still sound good. So for the setting you're about to hear, I have feedback way high, but I also have the high cut set in a way that is like making it okay. And I think this is a pretty good demonstration of what I think like the soul of the SDE-3 sounds like. By the way, if you want to buy the SDE-3, I have an affiliate link that'll give me a small commission if you use it to make the purchase. I'll put the affiliate link in the video description. Money. If you get the SDE-3 and you turn the effect level knob all the way up, you'll notice that it doesn't eliminate your dry signal. It just makes the wet signal very loud alongside your dry signal. There's no way to get 100% wet if you use the knobs normally. But there is a way to do it if you access the pedal's other output modes. There's a way you can change the output modes by holding the pedal down and powering it up with the knobs in a specific configuration. The instruction manual explains it. If you do it that way, you can get off the default and pick an output mode that sends the wet signal out on output A and the dry signal out on output B. And that way, if you plug into A, you can now get 100% wet signal. You still have to plug something into output B, which I think is funny. But you can plug something into output B and have that go nowhere, but you still need to do that to get what you want out of output A. Anyway, why would you ever go to the trouble to do this? I think getting a 100% wet signal can be cool. I've said this before, but if you have a pedal that you like the sound of, anything less than 100% wet is weakness.
You weak, pathetic fool.
So in this particular case, if you get 100% wet signal out of the SDE-3 and you set the rest of the knobs like this, you can get a sound that'll almost make it sound like you're playing piano. It's not really going to sound like piano. It's going to sound like you're maybe plucking the strings of a piano, but I think that's a cool sound. You can modulate the delays in the SDE-3. It gives you controls for rate and depth. So if you mess with those and you set the delay time to be short, you can get chorus and flanger sounds, which sound good. But what I think is even cooler is that if you go 100% wet, like we did in Pro Tip number 2, you can get a vibrato sound that is like lo-fi and unusual. This is what a fairly typical chorus sound is on the SDE-3. And this is a vibrato sound. Now, I think they're both cool, but the vibrato sound to me is like, as soon as I hear that, I would think, what is that? So for me, I like it better. can use an expression pedal with the SDE-3. In fact, I would say that it's unusual for Boss pedals and how much flexibility it gives you with expression control. You can control multiple different knobs, and you can even dial in the exact range of each knob that you want the expression pedal to touch. So for this example, I set it up so that I was controlling the feedback knob, but specifically what I was doing was I was continually using the expression pedal to go up to the point on the feedback knob where it starts to enter runaway self-oscillation and then back off. So I was always going right up to that point where it like starts the spiral out of control and then immediately backing off. And if you do that, the result is that it stops sounding like an audible delay effect and it just becomes this foam. It almost sounds like a reverb or something. Well, it's not really a reverb. It just feels like you are now fully inhabiting the darkness world of SDE-3, which I thought was cool. But the last thing I have to say is that I was not using a regular expression pedal to do that, in which case I would have had to constantly be moving my foot. Instead, I was using the side step. The side step does what an expression pedal does automatically. So you can just turn it on and then it'll send out expression control for you by itself. Pro tip number 5, I was using the side step again, but this time I had it continually change the delay time. And I was only operating at the bottom of the delay time knob. I was going from like minimum delay time to just a little bit above minimum delay time. I had the side step continually flick the knob up and down from those two spots. And if you do that, the result is this very glitchy pitch shift jump that I think is the coolest thing in this video.